Hi, how are you all doing? So what we have here is a map that's 8K map that doesn't have a terrain on it, terrain textures yet. The guy wants this thing to use the small island terrain paints. So as you can see here now, we have just the basic terrain paints, not the PBR. So we're going to upgrade those to PBR, and then we're going to go get the paints from the small island. Now when I got this map, it didn't have a terrain block, so the terrains here did not have a thing to enter in resolution. But once you upgrade the terrain paints, you can then pick the resolution. So Small Island uses base texture size of 2048 by 2048. In the macro and details are 1024 by 1024. So going to where your game's installed in the Steam library, Steam apps, common, beamngdrive, Steam library, Steam apps, common, beamngdrive. In the content folder, in the levels folder, go to Small Island, open the zip, go to here, there, art, terrains, and you don't need the main.material. Copy all these, everything but the main.material, and then paste it in your level when you have it in edit mode. Edit mode being edit mode. It's in the user folder. So here in the user folder is where you would put your zipped level, unzip it, put it here like this. Levels, and that's where your level would go so that you can work on it, because all the things you do are being saved in the user folder, not in the mod folder. It's all coming here. So by having it all here, all of it here at the same time, you can just pack it all up here and it'll be ready. In fact, I don't think you can have it in the mod folder and here and do any saving changes or anything with the terrain, because it won't combine later. You'd be just screwed. If you don't believe me, you can ask Rob Heritage, because I didn't believe it either. I worked out of the mod folder and I could not figure out why I could not make a map or save my life. Well, because it's got files in both places. You're treating it as this is zipped up archive, like on the hard drive installed when you put it in the mod folder. So it's treating it differently than what it would being here. So anyway, art, terrains, and paste all them in here. Now the albedo map is what he called it. I'm assuming that's the same thing as the base texture map. At least that's what I think. It's the same thing anyway. He wants to use his own base texture map, which is this weird looking island, instead of small island. Because small island assets come with its own too. See, it looks like the small island, but he wants to use his, which is fine. You can do that. You just have to scale yours to match his, which that's 4096. That's not 2048. So we got to scale that if we're going to use that. So we bring it into here. And then scale it. (2048 by 2048), since this will be used as the base texture. Now I went ahead and done this earlier, and I converted this to grayscale to save it as the roughness, and then I inverted it to save it as ambient occlusion, and then I went to filters, generic normal map, to put a basic normal map on it. It's not a real normal map, it's more like a relief map, but it's better than none at all. So having all them saved now, I can go back to the game. I can pick the right one for this. I gotta I'll just make a new material. And then we'll just pick dirt dusty or something. Dirt loose dusty. Save or add material. Once it's over here, you can then add your things. Now don't go crazy and put all the stuff in here. Just start with the base color, base texture first. Because the minute you put them all in there at one time, one's not going to work, and you're going to have a lot of work to do to figure it out. But if you do them one at a time, it's not so bad until you get a hang of how to, the workflow and all that stuff. Which I'm still learning that. My workflow is terrible. Alright, so this is the one that we resized for him. One of these is 2K. Should be 2K. No. God damn it. This sumbitch here, this GIMP here, if you don't watch it, it'll save it differently than what you want to save it as, or export as rather. Alright, you'll tell it what you want it to be, but then when you get the little dialog pop up, it'll try to damn switch it around. See, 16-bit grayscale. Whatever the last damn thing you exported as is what it seems to remember. But you can't do that for a terrain, regular terrain. That's got to be 8-bit RGB without an alpha channel. And now it can be saved. Let's see what I did. I got confused because I got the damn height map in the damn root of the level instead of in the level where the terrain paints are. Save it as JPEG if you're doing terrain paint. It's a smaller file size. And you can't tell the difference between the JPEGs and the PNGs as terrain paints anyway. Don't put any compression on it. God damn it. Don't put any compression on it. Leave quality 100% if you do JPEG. Now, there's our base color, and then pick the ambient occlusion. I suggest you just copy and paste this one to here, and just test it like that first. Save it, and then you can't remove that warning material until you put it in here. So go ahead and put it in here, new base. Now, once that's here, now you can remove the warning material and have your correct thing. Now the scale's off. Remember, this is 8K map. This is a 2K map. So just putting it at 2048, which is what it should be, well, you can see that it's still tiling because this is an 8K map. So how do you get around that? Tell this to be 8K, 8192. That's the scale. Has nothing to do with the resolution. That's the way it's scaled. That's all that is. That's for the scaling of it. Now you can get that one to fit the whole thing. Now, since I got it working, I can now put the correct one in here. That way you are only testing one image. And if that one ain't working, then none of the others are going to work. You might as well get one of them right before you go on and put all the others in, right? And luckily I done went ahead and did the ambient occlusion, roughness, and all that for this map. So, grayscale does show up as red. That's right. That's what it's supposed to look like. So, base color. You also have base color normals, right? And then you got base color also has a roughness. And all these must be the same, 2048. 2048, since that's what's specified there. Think of this as the law. Everything's got to follow this. No matter what slot going where, it's got to follow what these are. If you change it here, then it's going to invalidate all the textures. So you want to keep it, change them, not this. Unless you're making a new map and you don't want it to be that. You can do 8K, but it's going to be slow. It's going to take a long time. It's very slow. So the roughness, we put the roughness in there. And then the ambient occlusion, which I already put in there. And a height map, which I don't actually have. I could convert the height map from this that we used to use as a height map, but it'd have to be converted back to 8-bit. I'm going to do the economical way, the easy way. I'm just going to copy that one and paste it in here. It's actually the height maps don't really do much anyway. I can't honestly tell what they do. But you should see like immediately some change in this, how this looks once we save it. It'll have the bump mapping and stuff on it, or roughness, the bump mapping, all that stuff. So that's our base texture. It's a little shiny. Yeah, it's a little shiny. But black is shiny and white, I believe, is not shiny. So if it's not right and you're faking this like we're doing, you can put an ambient occlusion in there. It should remove some of that because it's brighter, or you can brighten the actual roughness one some, and it'll get rid of some of that shine. But maybe you want it on there. I'm just going to leave it like that. I'm going to go ahead and just stick the one that I did for the roughness into here instead. And then save. Alright. So that's that. Now, you want to add macro map from small island? Alright, you can do it. What you're going to want to do though, you're going to want to start again with the base color. Just start with the base color. Get your macro base color map. Macro base. And if you're going to use one from the game, that's fine. I'm just going to keep pasting the picture that I already got in my clipboard. So all I got to do is click on it and I'm back where I need to be. So what would be the mountain stuff? Rocks or something? Concrete damaged? Maybe that'll work. Yeah, we'll just use that. Or dirt, loose, dusty. Let's use that one. So base color. You say, well, that's not in color. Yeah, it is. Actually, it is. You use a high pass filter on all the macro base and macro detail bases. That way it is not multiplied by the base map, because they'll both multiply each other and you'll look really crappy. It'll be really dark if you try to do full color. You can put a full color in here, but you got to change the macro strength like 0.05 or 0.01, something really low. And you can make any texture a macro texture by just going into your photo editor and say filters filters enhance high pass filter. That's how you high pass filter something. So it can be used as a macro or detail if you got a regular base map. The only the ambient occlusion, we'll do the same thing. We'll copy, paste it, stick it in there. And the ambient occlusion for macro. Should be when we get closer, we start to see the new texture starting to come in. Yeah, you see it? I don't like that texture a bit though. Let's change it. We'll do dirt loose. Now, if you want to fill out the rest of them, since you know you didn't lose a texture, you can go through now and do that. I always do the macro not at 1. I usually go less. so it doesn't so overpower the other one. So adding its normals, roughness, ambient occlusion to the macro. Same thing you've been doing. You just pick the one for macro. Normal mapping, roughness, height, what's the scale? I'll leave it at 60. Let's do 16. That thing tiled pretty ugly, didn't it? All right. I just don't like that texture. Is all it is. I don't care for it. God damn it. Can't drive good. You can always lower the amount of normal mapping too. You don't have to use it that strong. That's full blown. As much as it gets.